Okay, friends, subscribers and all you YouTubers out there, I'm now currently making this new video due to the fact that whilst I was watching, by the way, that's some kind of either a building or structure, I'm unsure, or it could be a dam. Everything I'm circling there, as you can see, seem to be buildings of some description. I was looking at the footage of the alien spaceport, and I noticed at the corner of my eye, on the bottom right hand corner, I noticed a structure. I'll show you the structure I noticed a little bit later. But what I'm going to go into now is this city. And I'm telling you now, it's a damn city. It's basically, there's little buildings absolutely everywhere. And they're buildings. It seems to be streets. That seems to be some sort of transport device. I think it's like a you'd call it a subway in our terms. Now, notice that it seems to be they seem to be built structures around this thing. Notice that thing right in the middle of the screen. It seems that actually, you'll see a better shot of that a little bit later. But there's a lot of stuff in here that just didn't seem strange. They didn't look like craters and everything. So I just zoomed in and started examining everything. And so I turned on the cam studio and just followed what I was doing, just basically, and just having a look. Notice there's a light behind that mountain. Now there's the things. Now see that structure at the bottom? You'll see that's it there. You'll see it seems to be a built-up pad near it. And I'll just point to that. Yeah, just there. You can see the lines of that built-up pad. Now, I think that's some kind of a spacecraft thing, because you can notice the shadow underneath it. Then I started noticing everything down here, and I'm just thinking, this does not look like a crater to me. This looks like a city with different sized buildings. Fair enough, they might not be square, but they're flattened off at the top. And then I kept on looking, and you've only got to look at it. You can see there's structure all over the place. I don't know what the big white patch in the centre is, but I think it could be either fluid or it could be ice. I don't know. But I saw that funny line there, and I thought, no, that's a definite mistake of the camera. But so I didn't take any notice of that, and I just kept on looking around and thinking, okay, even that looks like a building. An odd shape. But then I kept on going and just following it around, and then I'm sort of looking, okay, well maybe couldn't be nothing here. Then I've seen this bit down here, and then that looks like a craft in the middle. I'm just circling that now. Now, okay, if you wanted to camouflage a city, what's the best way to do it? Build it in odd shapes so that they don't stand out. But only at close examination can you tell the structure of them, because everything is showing structure. It's showing different heights. Okay, we build at different heights. There are buildings there that are perfect right angles. There are buildings there even triangular. But they are definitely things, and some of these buildings even look to have lit windows in them. Yes, I said lit windows. Now look at this one up here. This looks like a small suburb. Now, they're definitely buildings of some descriptions. It's there's different layers and different levels, but on each level there seem to be small structures, or that one there looked like a craft to me, where I've got the cursor right there. So I've just kept on examining. Now you can see the bridge at the very top left. But then notice those round structures. At first I thought, okay, they're craters. Didn't take any notice of it. But then I started noticing the things coming off them. But it wasn't the only one. There was one below it, a smaller version of it, and a bigger version of it, and you'll see them. But there's a K-shaped building with a little square off it, and there's a building there, there's a building there, and it leads into that building. Now we have round-shaped buildings. Okay, there's a horseshoe building up there. They're not craters. I've looked at them and looked at them and looked at them. They are not damn well craters. that where that big white section there are either buildings along it or that is a dam of some description. As you can see, I'm zooming in a little bit. And look at, they are definite structures. There's nothing else they can be. It's what we have found here. We have found actually an alien city. And it's a damn, well, it hasn't been smudged out. You can make out the buildings. You can even make out transport lines that look like subways. It even looks like there's actually, I found another ship. I find that, I think there's a few ships. But to me, they look like suburbs. It just looks so much like a suburb. It's got streets in it, everything. There's buildings, it looks like there's even vegetation. Now, okay, we're told there's no atmosphere on the moon, but what if there is? Now, these bright objects, they could be craft of some description, I think. It's this could be the way that they travel. They use light to help them travel. There's paths, there's absolutely everything to me, and it spells a city. It's a definite city. I don't know what that one is. I think that could be a craft again, but it could be something else. Notice like the subway, the tunnel type thing, or this big tube, it could be for water. I don't know, but there is definite structure. I thought, okay, well, nah, they're just rocks, but they're not rocks. There's too much. As you look at it, you just examine it and examine it and examine it. That even looks like there's an artwork built into the thing that could be a building as well. So, but then I kept on noticing like streets and houses, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I can't believe what I'm actually seeing here. But they are. That is either a transport, but it's definitely for main transport. So I'm zoomed out and I've decided, okay, I'm going to have a look at other sections of the moon. But then I zoom in on them and, okay, absolutely nothing. It's so I go and have a look at another section, same thing. I see what look to be possible structures, but then I zoom in on them and, okay, and I'm not finding anything here. I found a bit of a line there, and but then I thought, okay, well, I'll zoom out and have another look, and so I zooms out and have another look and go into another section, and again, pretty much nothing. I do find a couple of things that I could question, but nothing that made me believe that there was any buildings or anything in this area or region. So I kept on zooming around. Now in the centre there, I think that could be a structure of some description. It definitely looks squarish to me. Definitely didn't look natural. And I'm noticing a lot of like paths or tracks in the things. Then I'm zooming back up to the top. So I started zooming in, having a look, and going in. But then I started looking at this section here again. It's just this one damn section. There's definitely something to this. It's definite building. There's that thing. I'm going to zoom in on it. You'll see it a bit better here. Okay, I just zoomed me out again. Sorry about that. But the thing is, it's you've got to realise that there is definitely something going on here. It's there is a structure in there that is definitely not crater. They are not craters. These are, now look at it, now that is either a ship or it is a house, but that is a definite structure, and it's definitely a structure of some description in the middle of it. There's a definite dome type, there's an underneath to it, there's a few things in here that made me even believe that there could be other ships in here. Again, I constantly zoom out and zoom in on different sections, as you can see here. And I'm trying to actually find normality to what the moon's supposed to look like. But each time I zoom in on this one damn section, I'm finding what looks to be a city. And no matter how many times I look at it, it's a damn city. There are natural formations amongst it, yes, but then from that side there, that's when the structure starts appearing in the thing. There even seems to be like a trail or a stream in there. There were towers, and you can see they were straight up and down towers. But just looking at it, basically, there's the spaceport at the top. When you've got a spaceport, well, what's the spaceport there? It's to back this city up. This city has either been built within a crater, and it has been built up sheer walls, or they've cut into the crater, but whatever they've done, or they've mined it out to be like this. And I'm telling you now that this is not natural. It is not a natural formation of the moon. It's sort of, there's nothing in this section that says natural formation. Maybe this is why the photos were taken and why the negative image was taken. Because in this region, things start to appear. It's sort of, now you're starting to look here, and you might think, oh yeah, that's natural. But then as you start to go up, even to the left, you can start to see structure coming within this area. It's not sort of much at the outskirts, but most cities on the outskirts does thin out, even with us. There's that ship again. But there's too much in this that tells me that these are buildings. It's sort of the way they sit. It says, hey, we are built here for a reason, and we are built there, and we are built. And I'm telling you, they're built. And when you first look at that, you think, that even that area, which is generally like a flat section of the moon, is what you would think, until you zoom in on it. And then what you start to see is something totally different. And all I can say is just watch this video with me as I'm talking you through it, and you'll start to see what I'm seeing. And you can go to I'll put the link to this damn picture, and you can go and have a look at it for yourself. Find things for yourself. This is an alien city. NASA hasn't covered this image up for some unknown reason. This one has escaped NASA. It basically is a city, and whether it's been built within this crater, and it looks like it was built within a crater, and there's ramps coming down it. It's sort of, now there's that spacecraft, the spacecraft I was telling you about. It's either a spacecraft or it could be some kind of a home. It could be a transport. To me, I actually think it's another spacecraft. There's an actual shadow. It's not exactly straight, but there's the area underneath it I wouldn't call straight, so hence that's why you're getting it. And there's another one down to the bottom left of that. But then you've got different things, and now these were the ones that I thought, okay, yeah, they're just craters. And then I'm looking at it again, they're not craters. These either look like holes, they could be mining within these holes. This could be a very large moon mining colony, or it could be a colony of aliens. Now, you look at some of these buildings, and they look like they have lights. Look at the ones almost to the middle, to the left a bit. They look like they've got lights in them, and constantly when you look at some of these buildings, the lights seem to be exactly the same on every single one. They're like a long window, as if they've sort of been carved in, or they might have carved in to the rock. Now, it's being said that if we go now and look at the centre of the screen, that one does definitely look like a craft. And then when you look at different objects and you look at different things, then there's the one down the bottom, it looks more like a travel thing again, maybe like our subway. But whenever you look at something, now that one to the top there's something there where I've got the cursor there, I just can't make that out. But it's sheltered because there's a big shadow underneath, so a big white thing at the top, which could be another ship. So I just kept on cruising, and kept on looking, and right under the cursor, that's where the windows were. I just had it on there only for a brief moment. And all I could do is just say, okay, yeah, well, I'll have a look at this bit, and have a look at that bit, and thinking, nah, it can't be. But the more I look at it, and it constantly, to me, like if I was drunk looking at a city in Newcastle or whatever, I'm saying, oh yeah, that's a city. But you don't even have to be drunk. You can just tell this is a city. There's too much structure. Like there's roads, there's buildings around the roads. The roads lead somewhere. Fair enough, the groundwork may not be perfect, But there's definite structure to these things, and I believe these are buildings of some description. And I think they've even muzzled into the rocks and built structures within the rocks. It's basically in the centre of the screen there's that big long ship, and I think it is a ship. Could even be a weapon, I don't know. But look at it. They look to be streets. They look to be buildings. Fair enough, they may not look like our streets. But, like, why should they? Our streets are totally different. It's just basically, there's something to this. And I mean, there's definitely something to this. This is what I think could be a transport, part of a transport system. It looks like it travels under the thing and goes into the rock. And they may, this base could be way, way deep underground. Now, okay, if this base is deep underground, why would you put a base underground? Okay, well, if there is no atmosphere, or there is limited atmosphere on the moon, where would you generally build? You would burrow into the rock. You would basically force your way into the rock. And there just seems something about that area there that to me just says there's definitely something there. They're either piping or whatever, but there's definitely something there. And then we come up to the bridge type structure, or it could be a bridge, it could be anything really. But then we have the structures here where we've got I call it the K building. Then we have the circular building with parts coming off it, and then if you look above that, there's a bigger version of it. Now, then we have another, looks like a transport system going into the ground. Then I think these are just buildings that are for some other purpose. This could be a more permanent sort of thing. But there's definitely something to these buildings. There is definitely something there. As I said, that looks to be a ship. Again, there's another round building, and it looks like it's got a building going into it. They could be tunnels for different ships to go into, or whatever. But no matter the more and more I look at this, these are buildings. They don't have to. You've got to open your mind and sort of say, okay, maybe buildings don't have to be square. We build square. The actual perfect building is actually a pyramid, so we think. Or you could just build in any way, shape or form. Now look, okay, there's a round hole. Is it a crater? No, it's not a crater. Look at it. There's buildings. There's a pathway going into it. There's a building coming off it in one direction. There's another building coming off it in another direction. And yeah, there's definitely something to it. And then you look at it, and then there's shadow underneath it and think, shit, that could be a ship. That could be a damned big spaceship. And I think that could be a spaceship. The more I look at it now, I think that is actually a spaceship. I didn't actually see it in that regard before, but yeah, I think that could be another spaceship. Now look at that one. To me, that says could be natural structure, could be anything. But then look around it. There's buildings. Shaded on one side. There's smaller buildings in the middle of them, but bigger buildings on the outer skirts of it. And now I had a look in the negative version. All I got was straight lines and stuff like that, and sort of you just couldn't see anything in the negative shot of it, except maybe a possible couple of openings. It's sort of they've just brightened it up too much. I think they brightened it up so they could get the definition on the ship. So I've had another scan, tried to just double check everything, and basically it was just because there's so much dark area, everything's just become white. So I couldn't really find too much on the negative version of the image. After a few minutes I got sick of it and just kept on trying. But yeah, so as I was saying, we have here like a bridge type structure. We have definite buildings all around the site. I believe there could even be another spaceship in there. So look, go to the link below, have a look for yourself folks, because I'm telling you now, it's a damn city. The veil's been lifted. Open your damn eyes and start believing the truth. And they're buildings. It seems to be streets. That seems to be some sort of transport device. I think it's like a you'd call it a subway in our terms. Now, notice that it seems to be they seem to be built structures around this thing. Notice that thing right in the middle of the... Okay, friends, subscribers and all you YouTubers out there, I'm now currently making this new video due to the fact that whilst I was watching, by the way, that's some kind of either a building or structure, I'm unsure, or it could be a dam. Everything I'm circling there, as you can see, seem to be buildings of some description. I like behind that mountain. Now there's the things. Now see that structure at the bottom. You'll see that's it there. You'll see it seems to be a built-up pad near it. And I'll just point into that. Yeah, just there. You can see the lines of that built-up pad. Now I think that's some kind of a spacecraft on the thing, because you can notice the shadow underneath it. Screen. It seems that actually, you'll see a better shot of that a little bit later. But there's a lot of stuff in here that just didn't seem strange. They didn't look like craters and everything. So I just zoomed in and started examining everything. And so I turned on the cam studio and just followed what I was doing, just basically, and just having a look. Notice there's a lot. I was looking at the footage of the alien spaceport. And I noticed at the corner of my eye, on the bottom right-hand corner, I noticed a structure. I'll show you the structure I noticed a little bit later. But what I'm going to go into now is this city. And I'm telling you now, it's a damn city. It's basically, there's little buildings absolutely everywhere.